Most people waste their first day in Atlanta comparing tours that all sound the same. I ranked every bookable pass and tour the city offers this summer by what it actually delivers, not what the listing promises. By the end, you'll know exactly which one to book and which ones to skip. Let's start at the bottom. 10. Ultimate Atlanta Walking Tour and Activities. What if you could tour 4 of Atlanta's biggest attractions for less than the price of a coffee? The Ultimate Atlanta Walking Tour and Activities costs just $5 per adult, and it runs through your own phone using the Pintours app, guiding you on foot past the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, World of Coca-Cola, Georgia Aquarium, and the College Football Hall of Fame. That price sounds almost too good to be true, and here's why. It covers navigation only. None of those admission tickets are included, so you're essentially paying for a smart map and a story to go with it. It's a solid pick if you already own those tickets or just want the walk and the history without stepping inside. But if you're hoping to walk through every door on that route, this one alone won't cut it, which is exactly where a narrated option starts to look more appealing. 9. 90-minute narrated sightseeing trolley tour. Picture cruising past Atlanta's biggest landmarks without ever stepping off the bus. The 90-minute narrated sightseeing trolley tour does exactly that for $36 per adult, departing near Centennial Olympic Park and rolling past sites like the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site and the Georgia State Capitol, while a live guide narrates the whole ride. It's a small group experience too, capped at just 26 travelers, so it never feels like you're herded through the city. Therefore, if your goal is a quick orientation lap before diving deeper on your own, this fits. But here's the catch. You're seeing these landmarks through a window, not standing in front of them. No stops, no photos at the actual sites, just narration rolling by at city driving speed. If that trade-off bothers you, the next option on this list trades the windshield view for an actual stage. 8. Atlanta Comedy City Tour. That stage I mentioned belongs to the Atlanta Comedy City Tour, where your guide isn't a historian, it's a working comedian. For $42 per adult, you get 90 minutes of stand-up improv and crowd interaction through stops like Krog Street Market and a drive past the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site, plus a 15-minute break. Why does this work? Because it turns sightseeing into a show instead of a lecture. But there's a catch worth knowing before you book. This is an adults-only experience, restricted to guests 17 and up, with comedy described as bold and unfiltered rather than family-friendly. So if you're traveling with kids or want something safe for all ages, skip this one entirely. If you're traveling solo or with friends and want Atlanta's history delivered with a punchline, this might be the most memorable hour and a half on the list. Though if comedy isn't your speed, the next stop trades laughs for legends of a different kind. 7. Guided tour of Atlanta Braves Truist Park. Legends of a different kind mean the Atlanta Braves, and the guided tour of Atlanta Braves Truist Park gets you closer to them than a regular game ticket ever could. For $35 per adult, you walk through areas closed off during games. The Braves press box, Hank Aaron Terrace, Monument Garden, and even the dugout across a tour that runs about an hour and a half. Every guest also walks away with a souvenir retired number chain included in the price, no upsell required. Here's the question worth asking though, does this only matter to baseball fans? Mostly yes. If you don't follow the Braves, walking through a press box in a clubhouse won't carry much weight, but if you are a fan or you're traveling with one, this is the rare ballpark tour that actually earns its ticket price instead of just selling you a stadium view, which is more than you can say for some of the city's bigger name attractions. 6. World of Coca-Cola general admission ticket. Bigger name attractions in Atlanta basically mean one place, World of Coca-Cola. General admission starts at $27.17 per adult, or you can upgrade to a guided VIP tour for $49.01, which adds a skip-the-line polar bear photo and a small group walkthrough of the museum's most popular areas. Either ticket gets you into the vault of the secret formula, the actual room where the company's recipe is locked away, plus the Taste It lounge where you sample beverages from around the world. Why does this attraction outlast so many Atlanta trends? Because it sells nostalgia, not just soda, wrapped around a brand with a 135-year history. The average visit runs about 2 hours, so plan around that if you're stacking multiple stops in one day. It's polished, it's interactive, and it earns its reputation as one of downtown's must-do stops. Quick guess before we move on. One of Atlanta's biggest attractions holds millions of gallons of water inside it, enough to make Coca-Cola's tasting lounge look tiny by comparison. Drop your guess for how many gallons in the comments. I'll confirm the real number later in this list. For now, let's keep counting down. 5 Half-Day Atlanta City Tour. Half-Day Atlanta City Tour gives you the broadest geography of any package on this list, weaving through Buckhead, Midtown, and downtown for $69 per adult. Depending on which day you book, your stops might include the Georgia Governor's Mansion, the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum with admission included, the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Park, or Ponce City Market. Here's the part that matters most though. Not every stop happens every day. The Governor's Mansion only opens its doors Tuesday through Thursday mornings, and Ponce City Market is only included on Sundays and Mondays, so the calendar decides your itinerary more than you do. Therefore, if there's one specific stop you're set on seeing, check the schedule before booking, not after. Capped at 12 travelers, it still beats driving yourself between 3 parts of the city solo, even though you're left guessing what you'll see until the day arrives. If a fixed itinerary feels safer, the next tour locks in its stops no matter what day you book. 4. Atlanta Sightseeing Bus Tour. True to that promise, the Atlanta Sightseeing Bus Tour runs the same stops regardless of what day you show up. For $69.99 per adult, you get a 45-minute walking tour of the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Park, 15 minutes on the Atlanta Beltline, and a stop at Krog Street Market before finishing with a 40-minute lunch break at Ponce City Market. That's 4 real stops with your feet actually on the ground, not just a drive-by. But there's a trade-off worth flagging. This tour's cancellation policy is strict, with all sales final, so there's no refund window if your plans change at the last minute. Capped at 20 travelers and running in an air-conditioned vehicle regardless of the Georgia heat outside, it earns its spot by delivering exactly what it advertises, stop for stop. If 45 minutes at the MLK site left you wanting more, the next tour spends an entire afternoon there instead. 3. Atlanta's Black History and Civil Rights Tour. True to that promise, Atlanta's Black History and Civil Rights Tour spends real time at the sites that matter, not just a quick photo stop. For $74 per adult, you cover Sweet Auburn, the Atlanta University Center's row of historic black colleges, Tyler Perry Studios, and a full 30 minutes at the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site, including Ebenezer Baptist Church and the King Center. Lunch happens at the Municipal Market, a 35-minute stop surrounded by family-owned restaurants serving everything from soul food to West African cuisine. Bottled water is included throughout, which matters more than you'd think once Atlanta's summer humidity sets in. One caveat worth knowing, this tour is not wheelchair accessible, so plan accordingly if mobility is a concern, with morning and afternoon departure times and a guide who actually narrates rather than recites. This is the deepest dive into Atlanta's history on this entire list, even if it means trading green space for sidewalks. If you'd rather trade those sidewalks for a mountain, here's where that happens. 2. Atlanta's Stone Mountain Park Sightseeing Tour. Here's where the city gives way to nature. Atlanta's Stone Mountain Park Sightseeing Tour costs $89 per adult and packs in the most ground of anything on this list. 4 to 5 photo stops, including Stone Mountain Lake, the Quarry Exhibit Trails Outdoor Museum, and the historic grist mill with its waterfall view. Bottled water and free parking are both included, and once you reach Stone Mountain Park Skyride Plaza, you get up to 90 minutes of self-guided time to explore the Rock Cafe, the gift shop, and the carving itself. One thing to budget separately though, the Skyride cable car to the summit costs an extra $16 per person. It's not bundled into your ticket. Therefore, if reaching the top matters to you, set that money aside before you go. For a half-day price, this is the most physically immersive option on the entire list. If you're ready to see these views in person, I've linked the best current flight and hotel deals in the description below to help you book for less. 1. Atlanta CityPASS. All roads lead here. The Atlanta CityPASS starts at $115.30 per adult and bundles 5 major attractions into one pass, valid for 9 consecutive days. The best value on this entire list by a wide margin. It guarantees entry to Atlanta's famous aquarium, World of Coca-Cola, and Zoo Atlanta, then lets you pick 2 more from the Fernbank Museum of Natural History, the College Football Hall of Fame, or the National Center for Civil and Human Rights. Zoo Atlanta alone adds over 1,000 animals, including giant pandas, and World of Coca-Cola brings its own century-old history into the mix. Buy these attractions separately, and the math stops making sense fast. Buy the pass instead, and you've covered nearly every must-see stop in the city for less than what 2 of them would cost alone. That 10 million gallon guess from earlier turns out to be exactly right, hidden inside Atlanta's famous aquarium and bundled into the very pass that just topped this list. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love this next one.